So one of the great keys of effective selling is making sure everyone knows where you're actually going. And what I mean by that is by setting proper expectations. And this is one thing, Annie, that it's a struggle for salespeople. So if you think about, let's just look at the home for a second, okay? Somebody goes into the home, they're gonna sit down, they're gonna give somebody a quote for a swimming pool, right? Generally speaking, how does that start? Once you get past the fluffy building relationships, building rapport part, how do most start? Like, have you seen, like, what is your opinion? I'm not looking for a specific answer. How do most begin these types of sales presentations?
Just asking questions about, what they want in their backyard.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you thought about a pool?
That's
How long
right.
have you thought
Right.
about a pool?
Usually it's questions, right? Usually it's questions. And here, now somebody might hear me say this and say, but I thought you're the question first guy. Yes, but we got to ask the right questions that include a major vanguard on the front end. Using radical transparency and radical candor on the front end as well. And that is, when we set expectations, it should be incredibly clear, A, what we're going to cover, and B, what things will look like if this conversation goes well. So this applies to a video sales call, or it applies to an in-home sales appointment. The fundamentals are the same. So let me give you an example of what this would look like, right? If I do this well, by the way, Annie, you should be able to recall clearly, okay, here's what we're going to cover tonight on this call, on this conversation.
Right.
And you're supposed to, or you should be able to say, okay, and if this goes well, then this is what's going to happen. That's the part that almost nobody says.
I would agree.
And it should be some type of agreement, like verbally there's an agreement there, all right? So it would sound something like this. Let's pretend it's a video call. And by the way, it could be the same thing for an in-home.
Right.
So the purpose of our conversation this evening is threefold. Number one, we're gonna pick the perfect swimming pool shape and size for your backyard. Okay, so that's number one. We're gonna pick the perfect swimming pool shape and size.
Right.
Number two, once we pick the shape and size, we're gonna look at options and accessories. So we're gonna choose the perfect options and accessories for your swimming pool project. So we're gonna choose shape and size, we're gonna look at options and accessories, and then finally, number three, we're gonna look at all the pricing tonight on this call, okay? So those are the three things: shape, size, options, accessories, pricing. Now, assuming that pricing aligns with your budget and you feel good about what you've heard, you can then put down a deposit that will get you on the calendar, and it will allow us to proceed forward with the site design. How does that sound to you?
Great.
Sounds great. Now, let's review. And the way we can test if I did a good job is if you can say exactly what's going to happen tonight. So what are the three things we're going to cover?
We're going to pick the pool size, and shape.
Yep, that's number one.
We're going to go over the accessories and options.
That's two.
And then you're going to give me all the pricing.
I'm going to give you the pricing. And if this goes well, then what will happen?
I'm going to put down a deposit.
That's right. And so it was very nonchalant. The problem is, too often, a sales appointment is like a roller coaster going up the hill, tick, 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 waiting for that moment where it starts to come down and we throw our hands up like, whoa, where'd that come from? Sales shouldn't be that way. Closing should be incredibly natural and organic. It's just a natural, well, here's the next step. But that's done when we vanguard and set the tone properly at the beginning. And so that's why we get that agreement. Hey, here's what we're going to cover, so here's where we're going. You know where we're going. There's no surprises. And they're not wondering, am I going to get this information? And here's what will happen next if this goes well. So that's why it was two parts. The same thing can be said for the home. Now, one thing I would say you may add to this that I think is a very strong verbal agreement is after I said that, I will also say one other thing. Now, at any point in this conversation, one other thing that I want us to agree to. If at any point I feel like you're not a great fit for us, or you feel like we're not a great fit for you, that we promise to let each other know in that moment that we're feeling it's not the best fit. Would you be willing to agree to that as well?
Yes.
Now, Annie, why would that be effective?
Because I'm saying I'm not going to waste your time.
That's right. That's right. And I'm telling you,
You're not going to waste mine.
we're not going to waste each other's time.
Right.
Saying that, does that make me more or less of an authority?
More.
Why?
Because you're laying down the rules. of
Laying down the
engagement.
ground rules of the engagement. You're exactly
Right.
right. And so get that initial agreement twofold. Here's what we're going to cover. Do we agree? Yes. The way we're going to do this is if at any point you feel like we're not a good fit for you, or if we feel like you're not a good fit for us, that we commit to letting each other know that we're not a good fit and no hard feelings. How does that sound to you? Sounds good to me, and everybody is better for it. Are you saying that right now? Are you previewing that conversation, be it on video or in the home,
Right.
so they can see it, so they could repeat it like Annie did? Or are you just going into your questions? What percentage are probably just going into their questions without getting this type of agreement?
A lot.
A lot. Remember, you might not need this leverage, these techniques, these skills today. Depends on when you're watching this, right? Because some people are going to be watching this in the year 2022, maybe 2023.
Right.
Could be a totally different game. But at some point, you're going to be grateful that you have these skills. Use them. Your authority, your confidence will go up, and you're going to be a much better sales professional and communicator because of it.